Attention passionate Philadelphia, EAGLES. Latest news, something big is happening in the NFC East and it could change the game. We're talking about a direct impact on Philadelphia Eagles' path to another Super Bowl run, a power shift that could leave a division rival stumbling for years. We're bringing this to you firsthand. But before that, if you're a true Philadelphia Eagles fan, subscribe to the channel to strengthen this passion even more. Show that you're also part of this family. Let's help each other reach 1,000 subscribers. Share with YOUR, FRINDS and Philadelphia, EAGLESFANS. Let's get to the news now, folks. What's really going on in the NFL right now, especially when we're talking about the NFC East? It's a story that's developing fast, and it's got everything to do with the quarterback situations in Indianapolis and Philadelphia. And trust me, this isn't just about one game or one preseason. It's about the future direction of these teams, their quarterback battles, and how that could shake up the entire division. So let's dive into this, because the Eagles, right now, are in a pretty interesting position, and what's happening with the Colts might just have some ripple effects on them too. First, let's talk about Indianapolis. The Colts, after a pretty disappointing season finishing 8-9 last year, are in a tricky spot. They're clearly in a quarterback quandary, and it's been a hot topic all offseason. They signed Daniel Jones to a one-year, $14 million deal, which on paper seems like a solid move. But anyone who's watched Jones over the years knows that he's often been a mixed bag. He's a guy with talent, no doubt, but consistency has eluded him, and he's still trying to find that rhythm after his days with the Giants. Now, that's not necessarily a bad signing. It's a low-risk move, and sometimes that's exactly what a team needs to shake things up. But here's the catch. This move signals that the Colts might not be 100% sold on their long-term quarterback options, especially with Anthony Richardson, the fourth overall pick from 2023, still trying to find his footing in the league. And Richardson, for all the hype he generated coming out of college, has had a rough start. His rookie season was marred by some well-documented struggles, and preseason play isn't exactly helping his case either. If you watched the Colts' first preseason game, you saw Richardson taking a brutal hit from Ravens linebacker David Ojabo on the second drive. That hit was so hard, it dislocated his pinky finger, and he didn't come back into the game. That's not just a small setback, that's a sign of the rough road ahead. When he left the field, his finger was bent at a strange angle, and it's clear he's still adjusting to the NFL level of physicality. Meanwhile, Daniel Jones, as inconsistent as he might be, stepped in and struggled against Ravens backups, completing only 10 of 21 passes for 144 yards with no scores. Not exactly inspiring, is it? So here we are, with two quarterbacks who aren't exactly giving their team a reason to be optimistic, at least not right now. And that's where the media's criticism comes into play. Some pundits like Fox Sports' Jason McIntyre have been pretty blunt, even sarcastic, about Richardson's prospects. He's joking about Richardson needing a Canadian passport because he might be headed to the CFL soon. Harsh, maybe, but it highlights the frustration many fans and analysts are feeling. McIntyre went further, questioning Richardson's ability to be an NFL quarterback, pointing out his limited college start experience, his struggles with reads at the line of scrimmage, and even mentioning that he took himself out of a game last season. All of this adds up to a narrative that Richardson might not be the franchise guy the Colts hoped for. And that's a huge problem for Indianapolis, because their head coach Shane Steichen and general manager Chris Ballard are on borrowed time. After last year's 8-9 record, they need results and fast. They need to show the Colts brass that they're heading in the right direction, even if the ultimate outcome of this season is disappointing. Because if they don't, their jobs could be on the line. Now, let's shift gears and look at the Philadelphia Eagles, who are quietly building a very different story. The Eagles, the reigning Super Bowl champions, are in a position of strength. Their roster is stacked, and they're clearly focused on maintaining their dominance. And part of that strategy involves showcasing their depth, especially at the quarterback position. We've seen the team's coaching staff, led by Nick Sirianni, give opportunities to their young talent, including Tanner McKee, the Stanford product drafted in the 6th round of 2023. And folks, McKee has been impressive in the preseason, going 20 for 25 for 252 yards, 2 touchdowns, and even scoring the first tush push of the year. That's a pretty solid performance for a rookie, and it's catching the attention of many Eagles fans and analysts alike. Now, the question many are asking is whether the Eagles are considering moving on from Jalen Hurts, or if they're just giving McKee some reps to keep him sharp. Honestly, there's no solid evidence that they're actively shopping McKee or that they're looking to replace Hurts. But you never know with Howie Roseman, right? The Eagles' GM has made some bold moves in the past, and with the NFL landscape being so unpredictable, it wouldn't be surprising if teams like the Colts, desperate for a quarterback, start making calls. And here's where it gets interesting. Indianapolis might look across the aisle and think about acquiring someone like McKee, especially if Richardson's struggles continue and Daniel Jones remains inconsistent. Because, let's face it, the Colts are in a tough spot. They need a quarterback who can actually produce and give them hope for the future. Richardson has shown flashes, but he's still very much a project. Jones is a stopgap at best. And if they're serious about turning things around, they might consider pulling the trigger on a trade, perhaps offering a future first-round pick to the Eagles. It's a gamble, sure, but it could pay off big time if McKee proves to be the franchise quarterback they've been searching for. And with Steichen and Sirianni having ties to both teams, there's a natural connection that could facilitate a deal. Now, I know some fans might be thinking, well, what about Kirk Cousins or other veteran options? But honestly, those guys aren't really the solution here. What Indianapolis needs is someone with upside, someone who can grow into the role, and right now, McKee looks like a promising candidate. He's never had a bad outing in preseason or in the regular season, and he's still on a rookie contract for another 2 years. That's a huge plus for any team looking to build around a young quarterback without breaking the bank. Plus, the communication lines between the Colts and Eagles are open, and both teams could see a mutually beneficial deal. So, let's think about this. If the Colts are willing to roll the dice and send a future first-rounder to Philadelphia, they might just land their quarterback of the future. It's a bold move, but when you're fighting for your jobs and trying to salvage a season, sometimes you have to make bold decisions. And for the Eagles, if they're even considering trading McKee, which, let's be honest, isn't certain, it could be a smart way to recoup some draft capital and keep building a roster that's already one of the best in the league. They might be listening to offers, especially if they see the right value coming back. And that brings us to the broader picture. The NFL is a league where patience isn't always rewarded, especially for coaches and GMs under pressure. Steichen and Ballard, despite their talent and track record, are on the clock. They need results, and they need them fast. If Richardson doesn't improve and Daniel Jones keeps struggling, the Colts might feel that their best shot at future stability is to acquire a proven or promising young quarterback. And given the tight relationship between the Colts and Eagles, that move could very well involve a trade for McKee. It's a scenario that makes sense on multiple levels. But let's not forget, this is football. Nothing is guaranteed until it actually happens. The Eagles could decide to hold on to McKee, keep their options open, and develop him behind Hurts. Or they could explore the trade market if the right offer comes along. What's clear is that the NFL landscape is shifting, and teams like the Colts are feeling the pressure to make bold moves. The outcome of this situation could have rippling effects not just for Indianapolis, but for the entire NFC East, which has been one of the most competitive divisions in recent years. Now, imagine a scenario where the Colts, desperate for a quarterback who can actually lead them, make a move for McKee, leaving Philadelphia with a young, talented backup who's shown he can perform under pressure. That would be a win-win for both sides, especially if McKee continues to impress in the preseason and beyond. It might seem like a gamble now, but in the NFL, sometimes the biggest risks yield the biggest rewards. And as fans of the Eagles, we should keep an eye on how this unfolds, because it could mean the difference between another shot at a Super Bowl or a rebuild that drags on for years. So, as we wrap up this deep dive into the quarterback situation in Indianapolis and how it could impact the Eagles' future, remember that the NFL is always full of surprises. The Eagles have built a powerhouse roster, and their focus remains on competing at the highest level. But with the league's shifting dynamics, especially in the quarterback market, the next few months will be crucial. Will Howie Roseman and Nick Sirianni pull the trigger on a trade? Will Indianapolis find their franchise quarterback? And how will this all affect the NFC East race? These are the questions we'll be following closely. And honestly, it's a fantastic time to be an Eagles fan because, despite the challenges, the future still looks bright. Pause here just for a second. If you want the YouTube algorithm to keep recommending the latest Philadelphia Eagles news to you, it's super important that you leave a like on this video. Go ahead, it's quick and it makes a big difference. Thank you. Now let us continue with the big reveal. And now, Philadelphia Eagles fans, I want to hear from you. What's your take on all of this? Do you think the Eagles should consider trading McKee, or should they hold on to him and see how he develops? Would you like to see the Colts make a bold move and go after McKee? Drop your thoughts in the comments below because your opinion truly matters to us and to the Eagles community. We're all in this together, and I'll be back soon with more updates, more insights, and more reasons to stay pumped about the Philadelphia Eagles. The NFL season is just around the corner, and with all these moves and rumors, it's shaping up to be one of the most exciting years yet. So stay tuned, stay passionate, and as always, fly Eagles fly.